StuCast episode number 4. We got Gabe Grimm in here in the motherfucking room for a nice little chit-chat conversation.
Howdy.
Howdy ho. How you doing, my boy?
I'm doing alright, we both got off that same work shift at Whataburger, so we're a little bit tired, but...
Burger boys by day. Fucking everything else by night. Goddamn. So, Mr. Gabriel, I invited you on the StuCast to talk about your endeavors and your impact, honestly, that you have on the scene here in Pensacola, Florida. You are a very influential character through your art, through your management, through your collaborations, your bookings, etc., etc., etc. Why don't you just talk a little bit about what you do for, I guess, the scene in Pensacola?
I mean, the simplest description to explain to somebody who's already been working in the industry of music or whatever you want to call it, you could call me a promoter for the city, or at least for the alternative metal, maybe punk side of the scene, and a little bit of other branches, but that's what most people would consider me as. I like to call myself a manager of 5 bands: The Taints, Crow Road, Ego Death, Infernum, and Sanguine. I know there's some pauses in between there, but hey man, I remember them this time.
So you got The Taints, who of course were your first band. You got Crow Road, who was your second. Was it Ego Death or Infernum that was the third?
No, it was actually it was Ego Death third, and then Infernum fourth, Sanguine last.
Okay, so how did you even get to the point of managing that first band?
So The Taints, I feel like it might have came out of necessity, or perceived necessity, where I thought, hey, there's got to be somebody who's got to talk to everybody while everybody's busy doing something. While everybody's setting up, they don't want to fucking worry about whatever the next person's doing. They're trying to fix their shit. Or if there's somebody who needs to take the flack for a band because the band made a mistake or an oopsie, they might not want to go up to the band member and be like, you're fucking up. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They might want to go to the band manager because they know they can be a little bit more emotional and it won't get conveyed as aggressive. They could be like, hey dude, your band is behind schedule. You guys need to hurry up. They don't have to tell my bands that. They could tell me that if they don't want to. There has to be somebody who's there to mediate those tensions. Sometimes. Not for everybody, but I feel like it came out of necessity for the Taints. Yeah. At least in the beginning.
Yeah.
I could go more in depth about it, but that's a long topic. Everybody in the Taints was basically my best friend at the time. It started off as Shelby, Cody, and Zach. And, they're all my friends. We all skated together. And then, eventually just phased into a long-term friendship over print and other various things that factored into it. But we just all stuck together. And if I'm going to be around them, might as well be helpful.
Yeah. Obviously, you care about music and the production and spreading of music. What exactly made you want to manage other bands?
It kind of started when I went into Wyatt's room working at Windows Plus. I just saw all the band posters. I'm like, damn, this guy looks like he's in a band. It's all legit shit. And then he was freshly woken up. Probably got told to get out of his room so the window repairman can come clean his or repair his window and shit. And, I think before I left, I talked to his mom and was like, hey, is your son in a band? He's like, yeah, Crow Road and all that. I was like, can I get his contact? What's his Instagram? And then I got his Instagram, and I don't know if it was me messaging him or him messaging me, but I eventually went to one of the practices, and I'm like, hell yeah, dude. And then it came to hey, would you like to manage us? And I was like, or I don't know if I approached him with that. That story would have to have Wyatt here to confirm how that went. But it kind of just started like that. Just being at work, seeing somebody else had one. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. I have band experience. Might as well give this a try.
What first got you involved in music?
I mean, It's a big question, but I think my first musical, like how I knew I enjoyed music was just from my brother playing music. Pantera is definitely like the biggest influence, and then you got Deadmau5, the electronic side. Although I don't really listen to Deadmau5 that often. I do listen to it when it comes up on shuffle, but it's mostly Pantera. So I think Pantera kind of helped get me through like my understanding of what I like in music, and it still kind of just is my favorite band. I hate to sound like a person who's like, oh, I enjoy every genre of music, because it's not necessarily true. There's times where I will like it, and there's settings where I will like this music.
Yeah.
But it really just depends. And I don't think I had anything that strictly inspired me to enjoy music. I just remember like a timeline of being legit, enjoying electronic music and all music genres in general, but mostly electronic based. Getting into middle school, rap was becoming the popular thing, so eventually it caught on to me, and went through high school. Still had all my mixes of music, mostly listening to rap, underground stuff like SoundCloud rap. I don't know if we'd call it underground, because I guess we're underground, so it feels weird to call them underground, but you know what I mean? Just like when it wasn't necessarily popular to listen to a rapper screaming into a microphone. And I think that's what also kind of helped me get a little further into like, whoa, there's like a story behind the music. Like, for example, I followed XXXTentacion when he wasn't really that big, and then he just stopped posting for a while. Searched up why he stopped posting, because, you know, I'm a jet, I want to see more music. I don't understand why music doesn't get put out every day like that. If it's, you know, oh, I've made a garage band beat. So you think it's easy, but you know what I mean.
Dude, like...
And you find out he's in jail, and that's how I got into music lore, I guess. Enjoying how artists go through what they go through.
Fucking, that explosion that happened, I feel re-emerged, like, what a scene is.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, it was rap primarily, but a lot of that feeling, that clothing, that whole culture was primarily, like, punk.
Yeah, it was pretty much the same sick. Attitudes.
That attitude, that energy is still there, and now it's just going back into instruments.
Like, when people think of, like, 2016... they're thinking of like that, like it's the 80s. Because, I mean, that's when like all the drugs were around. That's codeine, Xanax. People were just starting to make cocaine like popular again. Like, that's when everything was starting to like truthfully become normalized again, you could say. Like, vapes came out, Juuls, blah, blah. Juuls, they've been around forever, but that was the year, I guess. And that's where everything blew up and people realized you don't have to just do this to become a pop star. You could Lil Pump your way into life. But you also see what Lil Pumping your way into life does. So it definitely did make a start in the new wave. There's always a new wave, but I guess the next wave coming in of
that shit was sick.
What people enjoy. Yeah.
Fucking 2016. That was proving that you don't need to be a pop star to make it.
It also showed you don't need to like be a musical genius like Prince to fucking make some crazy good hits. And you don't have to have the work ethic of Prince either to make some crazy good hits. You just gotta like what you do. Eventually it's gonna sound good. If you really do like what you do and you keep trying to make yourself sound better, you'll just get better. I mean, that's the natural flow of life. But
my thing is, like, I think there's a fucking audience out there for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how crazy your music sounds.
If not today, like, then a couple years in the future.
Crazy, obviously. But no matter how crazy your shit sounds, no matter how weird your shit sounds, somebody out there is going to fucking find it and listen to it.
Yep.
Even if it's after you're dead.
Yep. I think that's why it's cool you could see like people from other countries listen to your music. You're just like, how the hell did you find our music?
But, dude, the internet is fucking crazy, man. It is fucking crazy. Fucking continuing on the questionnaires.
Yeah.
What was life like growing up for you? Like, what do you believe sculpted you into who you are?
I think definitely growing up in Pensacola and everything that surrounded that molded me into who I am. Just all the events that go on down here, the culture that is Southern culture in the South, and Pensacola is not necessarily New Orleans size of a culture.
Yeah.
But to an extent, there is some things that you're like, yeah, that's kind of a Pensacola thing.
Fucking, how would you describe this place to people who have never been here?
I'd say it's the best way to describe it is to give a history lesson, but it gets called the first city because it was, I guess, the first colonized city. Not too sure how exact that is. I think St. Augustine fights for it all the time.
Yeah.
But because we are one of the oldest colonized cities, that means our town is like also one of the oldest fucking existing towns ever. So it's just going to be built on top of built top things. Like our downtown's built on top of a fort. So like they even advertise that when you're in the park. They're like, yeah, you're standing right above the officers' barracks. And it's like, oh, cool. So we've always had weird area code. Maybe not as bad as Tampa, but it's a weird area code thing where you can kind of live downtown and there's like also cool shops downtown. But there's not like just random shit that shouldn't be downtown. Maybe other than lawyers' offices.
Yeah.
Or an excessive amount of restaurants. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, there's like Handlebar down there. It's not the most amazing city for everyday nightlife, but it's definitely a place where if you're bored, there's definitely a means to go be creative. And it's not entirely socially out of the loop. We still have touring bands come through here. We have a great team of people who book for here, whether it be Rob from Handlebar, or I can't remember his name, but I should remember his name, but he's from Wrist Beats Razor Booking. He's been helping book shows more, and anybody who just books shows for their bands, they kind of help make it not just some random small shitty town. It's the people in the town that make it good.
Yeah.
Because anywhere else you go, you don't really find this many young people wanting to make this many bands. Or if there is, I'm not seeing it advertised that well.
Yeah.
But again, that's a small circle thing to say, or I don't know what it is. Short-minded, because, oh, well, I only see it for myself. I'm just saying, like, when I went to Jacksonville or when I went to Nashville, it wasn't as easy to find where, like, the culture would go hang out. We're not perfect, but I feel like at least DIY Pensacola is really easy to find, enough to where you're like, oh yeah, there's always something going on.
True.
A lot of events for a small city. That's what I could say about Pensacola.
On the topic of Pensacola, it's potentially becoming like a middle scene or whatever the fuck.
Middle ground between cities like Milton and Panama City and maybe Fort Walton and Crestview.
It's becoming something.
And Mobile, Alabama.
It's been something before.
It has. It has been a scene since the 70s, I'd like to believe.
And it was a pronounced punk scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it has pretty rich history within punk. How did you get introduced to that part of this town?
I think it kind of took my friend Zach going to a Bug House show, and then I was like, man, I want to go to that. And he's like, no, I don't know if you'd like it. I'm like, I fucking would, dude. I love Pantera. But I mean, like, I guess you could call me a poser at the time, because I was pretty much dressed in, like, Supreme outfits and hypebeast shit, because that's what I was influenced by at the time. And I'm like, man, I like this. This is very colorful and poppy to my eyes. I enjoy this. So, I mean, yeah, you call me a poser at the time. Fair point. They had a vinyl show coming up. I'd been to vinyl shows before, so I went to the vinyl show as my first, like, true punk show, which, it's funny because you don't necessarily think of vinyl being a place to go see a punk show at. Yeah. It's more of, like, metal and, like, 10,000 follower territory, if that makes sense. But, saw that, and I was like, man, I love that. I got to experience a mosh pit. I saw Drew Coates, the front man of Dead Bugs. He showed me, like, what it kind of is to be punk all in one day, because he just embodied it, in a sense. Like, his band went on after Resolve, which Resolve is this heavy-ass fucking metal band that, like, goes so fast, and they're all on rhythm and shit. It's crazy. But, you know, I know Drew's about to go play this song live. What does he do? He fucking has this beer in his hand and immediately, like, back runs into the crowd. Like, he just pushes his back into everybody, beer in hand, and, like, throws it on everybody. And he's just like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just fucking slamming the whole pit. The security guy has to, like, stand with this light like this to make sure everybody sees the spelt beer. And then they push the security guard in the pit. I'm like, wow, this is punk. Like, this is just raw, unfiltered energy. Whether it's good, bad, it's everything. It's fun. And, yeah, there's negatives to it. You shouldn't be throwing beer on everybody. You shouldn't be throwing the fucking security guard in the mosh pit. But, you know, that, like, it entertained me so much, I needed more of it. I was like, I love this. This is everything I need in my life. Because I don't want to fucking hurt myself through skateboarding. But being in a mosh pit, like, it didn't hurt as bad as you think it might. You think, oh, I'm going to die in a mosh pit. Then you get in one, it's like, oh, you're being pushed around a push pit.
Yeah.
Or if you go into a karate pit, you know, that's on yourself. You can fucking run into knives if you want to, but...
Oh my God.
I think that was my introduction to the whole scene, was going to that first show, and then just sprouted on from there. Started going to bug house shows. Some classified stories I can't tell you because I was a little bit of illegal because we were all underage, so I don't want to say there was nothing sexual going on. It was just we were taking beer from people we shouldn't be taking beer from.
Oh no!
Yeah.
What are some other outlets that you have?
I like drawing, film photography, which reminds me I got some photos in today I got to show you. I haven't looked at them yet, but photography in general, but I enjoy film more because I guess it's easier. It comes out with prettier photos. I don't need to go edit it in computer. It just comes out looking beautiful, raw. And you can still edit it if you need to, but I'm not doing that. I like being a therapist sometimes. But in also a way of like, hey, maybe your issue could be solved over here. And maybe it's not always an issue. Maybe it's like, I'm looking for this, and I'm like, yo, actually they do that over there. Maybe you need to do that. So I guess just taking my management and putting it into my normal everyday life. I enjoy making people's lives easier if I can.
Yeah.
Especially if I find them creatively interesting. And by that, I mean, I enjoy what they make. Like, if I enjoy what you make, you can fucking damn near screw me over, and I'm still gonna be like, well, it sucks, but are you still releasing that next artwork, or what are you doing? You know, like, I'm still gonna look at your work. It sucks. Some people I won't do that for. If you're a pedophile, fuck you. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't like you. You know who I'm talking about. Yep. Oof! It is a really complicated topic. Anyways, what's the next question? That is a very strange and hard topic that I don't even know fully myself how I feel about it yet. All I know is I don't like them. And they've been doing this kind of photography for a long time, so... Again, that's why I'm not saying any names. I'm just saying, like, it's like, I see it for what it is. You took a picture of somebody who you knew was 17, so... I hold that for anybody. If you're fucking making advances towards people when they're underage, you're fucking weird. And if you're waiting till they're 18, that's also kind of fucking... Not even kind of, that's just fucking weird.
If you don't have the self-respect to say, show me your fucking ID...
Yep.
Fuck you.
It's that simple.
So, what would you like to come out of this scene here in Pensacola?
I'd like there to be like a dedicated like media outlet and not just, you know,
a
small
compilation.
Yeah, like a compilation of like separate artists doing separate things. I want to see like some sort of media group come together, realize their talents, be like, hey, let's put all this together and make it a daily instance where we can show what's going on, not only just in Pensacola, but there's a bunch of other different types of music, not only here, but around the entire South Gulf Coast area.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Like, I think we need more media. We definitely need more production, like music production, art publishing, book publishing, a lot of things that will put us outside rather than just relying on the internet, because we rely on the internet to do everything for us so much that we end up not doing it.
Dude.
Because it's so DIY nowadays that you're like, oh, I don't know where to go get help on this, because that just doesn't exist anymore. It's on the internet. I wish there was media. I wish there was more producers. I wish there was more publishers. That's pretty much just the general thing I wish would come for the scene, is more things to produce, more things.
Mr. Gabe always got the drip. Where does it come from? Where does the drip come from? The mystic drip.
It comes from anywhere and everywhere. people give it to me, or I go to the thrift store, or there's a story behind every article of clothing, just like I assume everybody else does, but it's very rarely like bought because it's expensive. I've learned to stray away from that by, again, my phases in life where I just bought something because I had a name on it, and then I would get it and be like, yeah, I could just resell it, and I wouldn't resell it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it just
man,
sits there.
yeah, it just sits there.
And
So
then
like,
you never wear it again.
mm-hmm. This wasn't even bought by me. My best friend Cody bought this for me because he knew it was me, and it's just like, I haven't seen a better leather jacket yet where I'm like, I need that one. This one is like perfectly thick. It's already formed to me. It's like the perfect length where it's like short, but it doesn't go above my belt. It doesn't like show off my belt unless like I raise my arms a little bit, but it's perfect for me.
What made you style it the way that you did?
I mean, obviously the influence of Zach getting me into punk music and just that kind of DIY culture alongside of Holden. I think I did this while waiting on somebody in a Burger King parking lot. I did both sides in like 3 hours. So I was literally just waiting for somebody because I was like, oh, I know this is going to be sick. And I've been wanting to do it for a while. So I did it. In a Burger King parking lot. Swear to God. This is from Shay's grandma. She recently made this. Handcuffs. Nothing specific for that. It just looks cool. But it also kind of reminds me of a teenage prison. You know, first Taint song. This awesome. Little S-hook thing. This is made by my friend Heidi. Like, there's all little stories on it. Like, everything's got some sort of meaning. And I think that's what makes a punk jacket a punk jacket. Not that you filled it up as fast as you could, but it's rather the story that it tells. Sure. Or that's my definition. Everybody's definition is different. But for me, I think your jacket tells your story. Just how your battle jacket and metal is supposed to say, like, I like these bands and these styles, and I believe in these things. It's like a message board, but without saying any words on it. I've had a lot of things go on and off this jacket. Like, they think I have this, which I plan on putting my grandma's ashes in.
Nice.
But I don't want to keep that on the outside of my jacket because, well, you can see it broke off. So, you know, not everything has to be on the outside. You could put the sentimental shit. Like, this has an old rock from the house that had my roof cave in on me that I had to move out of. I thought it was going to be my forever home. Just, it's for you. You know what I mean? So that's your punk jacket. Have extra pockets to put more sentimental things in there. I got 2 chargers, graffiti marker, more markers, lighter, film, marker, ring, pen, coins.
It's like
yeah, it's just
trick,
it's just random shit in there.
Dude, that's your whole inventory.
Yeah, and then there's other pockets if you want to put shit in there, but
my God. And going on, this was a classic question. On top of all of the shit that you do, how do you keep on flying straight? How do you make it through your everyday life?
You just gotta enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy what you do, you're gonna think too hard about it and just really not enjoy it. I mean, there's times where I'm like, man, I fucking hate being a manager. But, I mean, that's any job ever. You're gonna hate stressful moments because they're stressful.
Yeah.
If you didn't enjoy what you do, you wouldn't keep doing it. I mean, it's not for every situation, but at least for my situation, I know I enjoy going to shows and seeing these bands put on music that make people feel good, they relate to it. They might, I'm not saying our lyrics are the most easy to read, but they might relate to the lyrics if they hear them occasionally, and or how the music makes them feel. Like, they might just be like, man, this music feels like what I've been through, or feels like something I want to go through. Yeah. It's just nice to see people do that. It's a way to watch art be enjoyed in a way that's not cornball to my eyes.
How do you prevent burning out? Because you're always fucking going, dude.
You will get burnt out. And you just... Sometimes it feels like you gotta hide it. You should probably never hide your burnout.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm burnt out from booking the tour shit, but I expressed it to you. Yeah. Like, it's fucking annoying sending 3 emails asking who is Danielle And then, like, putting it together later in the day that maybe the person named Dan Nolan is probably Danielle Nolan. I don't know. I still don't know. But you just... Shit like that is going to burn you out because it pisses you off. It's something so simple can make you feel stupid. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what burnout is. It's something simple that's making you feel stupid. So you just got to take a step back and be like, you know what? I can't fucking do that right now. I'm going to do something I know I'm good at. And maybe folding this paper or painting this table makes me feel good, so I'm going to do that. That's how you avoid burnout. You just do something you know you're good at, even if it isn't the most difficult thing in the world. Do something you know how to do. You can't continuously do something you don't know how to do and feel comfortable. Yeah. You will always be uncomfortable. And if that's how you want to be, if you'd find the comfort in being uncomfortable, that's awesome for you. Go join the Marines. That's not me, though. When I get uncomfortable, I'm going to figure out why. Try not to be uncomfortable if I don't have to.
Yeah.
You might have burnout every day of your life. You just got to figure out how to come back from burnout. Just like, I don't know, I'm not an expert on depression, but you might feel depressed every day, but you got to figure out how to get yourself out of that depression every day, even if that's how you wake up. You got to be like, damn, well, do I want to be fucking sad for the rest of the day, or do I actually want to find something to enjoy?
What are some moments that made you who you are?
I think I wrote classified for this, but I mean, I think every moment, every day makes me who I am, and especially the moments where they feel extreme, odd, or don't feel like they, I'll find a better word, they feel stranger than fiction. Like, truth being stranger, like, if it feels stranger than fiction, it definitely molded me, because it made me think, damn, why the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
That is, like, weird. You know, those things mold me, because they make me realize, like, okay, I need to be aware of this in the future. Like, say something as small as getting paid $50 for a show that you sold 60 tickets to. You know, that might make me be like, that was weird. I'm not going to say nothing to you. I'm just going to remember it. And then next time we play a show with you, I'm going to do something that makes sure we don't get $50 if I'm feeling weird about it. I'm not going to go tell you that's your issue because I got paid $50. It made me feel weird. I need to go figure out what's wrong with it. So, I think that's what molds me, is the big things that make me feel weird. The things that make me question. Those are kind of what shape me. And so does everything else, but I think that's what kind of shapes me the most, is if I have to ask a question about it, it's going to shape my decision on something.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully on tour, or still finding a way to support local music, but in a way where it's not the same thing I'm doing right now. Hopefully it has advanced, whether it be more special effects, or lighting, or understanding of what genres do well in certain areas. I just want it to be what I'm doing right now, but improved. And if it can't be that, I'd want it to be something like an art shop that I own, or a venue, or like art supply shop. I don't mean like art shop isn't like, oh, come just buy art here. Like, I think it would be like, hey, if you're an artist, you could sell anything here. I'm not making you pay any fees. Like, the whole point of promoting artists isn't to promote rich artists, it's to promote artists. So if you ask for a $15 fee, you're only going to get people who are willing to spend $15.
Yeah.
Someone like me who I don't think my art is the greatest, but I will probably never put my art anywhere unless asked, because I don't want to pay money to go put my art up. I don't have the fucking time to do that. I do, but I don't want to do that. So my art will never be expressed. And that's probably the same for thousands of other artists. So I'd rather, you know, hopefully in 5 years, if I can't do this, then it'll be that. Promoting people who want to be promoted, but don't have the financial or knowledge. So a physical shop, hopefully on Palafox, where you don't have to know it. You just go to a gallery night and you see the shop, because I'm outside on gallery night advertising my shop.
Word.
That's, you know, one of the two. With the bands, or doing something that's promoting creativity, because that's what I know best, is promoting other people that are creative. Which leads me back to why I think calling myself a promoter is the best word, even if I don't repost flyers and stuff all the time on my story as a promoter should. I think that's where I best fit my name under, if you're not calling me a manager of a band.
End goal. Farther than 5 years before you die. On your deathbed, what do you want to have accomplished?
That is a big ass question.
I know.
The longer I think about it, but
just name maybe 5 things. What are your biggest fucking goals that you really think you are capable of accomplishing?
I would like to at least make the city that I grew up in, Pensacola, a better place as far as, like, again, for artists, creatives, shit like that. I would like to be able to help make the city more of just like a city that uses their morals instead of their money. Because there's a lot of things we do to be greedy with money in Pensacola where I'm like, yeah, I don't think a thrift store should be charging $80 for shit they got for free. True. I'm not saying, like, I want to go be mayor, but if I had the chance to, like, go change something, I'd be like, yeah, if you're calling yourself a thrift store, nothing in your shop could be over $20. And then maybe go with inflation. And it sounds like a stupid law, but, like, there's, like, some things where greed kind of ruins a small community.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you might paint amazing art or take amazing photos, but if you're the only person, doing something and, you're charging all this money, don't be surprised when somebody who wants to do it for free or cheap does it more often than you. Like, how did I get there? I feel like I completely jumped a question. Because that wasn't even about end goal of life. Either way, in the end goal of life, I just want to be happy and stop worrying about other people's lives. Because I think that's where I get at sometimes. I worry about other people's lives a little bit too much, and it affects me. When I could just be worried about myself. But a part of my job is worrying about other people's lives. So that way, my people's lives don't become worse. So I don't have to worry about them as... It's never in the cycle. I have to worry about people's lives. But at the same time, I would just like to care more about mine sometimes, if that makes sense. Like, I think that's my end goal in life, is to find that balance of, I've already done enough for everybody else. It's time to, like, know when I can do it for me and when I can give myself to other people. Or if I have to, then I must give myself to other people. Be happy. I'm not saying I'm not happy right now, but that's about as simple as it can get. Just make sure I'm still happy.
Hell yeah. Well, that is thy last question.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel content?
I feel pretty content.
Good. StuCast episode number 4. Gabriel Grimm featuring Shay. It's been fucking real. Hopefully episode 5 will be soon. Soon.